Welcome to the Journeyman Cave, a podcast where we meet and chat with some of boxing's most seasoned road warriors, hosted by Mark Shakespeare and Chris Scarfe.
Welcome back to the Journeyman Cave, everybody. Round 21. We can go and have a drink in America now, Shecky. How you doing?
Can I drink in America?
21, innit?
Oh, yeah. Good point, yeah.
You can take me over there.
Oof, that'd be nice. We won't get asked for ID, will we?
Me and you. No chance. Who we got for round 21?
Yeah, we've got a legend today, mate. We've got Mr. Kas Hussain himself. And I went for a trip down to his house for this one, didn't we?
We did. Went to Sheffield. Very hospitable. Lovely house. Lovely guy. Honestly, what a guy.
Yeah, he's a good talker, he's Kas. He's a funny guy and he's very, very clever as well and intelligent. He's going to go far in life. And I think now he's retired, as you'll find out on this episode, he's got a couple of lads under his management now. And I think he'll keep his stable very small, but he'll look after them. And I think he'll be definitely good going forward. I'm looking forward to seeing his management skills.
Yeah, he knows what he's talking about. I was looking forward to this particularly because a lot of people, so over the time we've done this, his name's been mentioned by so many boxers. And, so the more you hear, the more I'm thinking. And when you said we're going to see Kas, I was like, I couldn't wait. And we weren't disappointed at all. Do you want to mention that we've got a new feather in his cap? What did he have us doing at end?
Well, I was about to say that. It's lucky that he had good biscuits and good coffee. Because he had us we were tree surgeons, weren't we, for that day?
He had us grafting.
He did. We had to open that old rusty gate, didn't we?
That took some budging. But, got there at end, and that's it now. Tree surgeons going on TV.
Left a full forest on path, didn't we?
They weren't far off. Yeah. Well, and the other thing I would like to mention is I think this is a record length for our podcast so far. Now, we could have stayed easily another hour, couldn't we? But we had obviously, we knew we had 12 Kas with his trees, but you had to be somewhere, I had to be somewhere. So, because of the questions, we asked if anybody wanted any questions online, and a lot of you did. We managed to get a couple in, and then next thing we know, we'd run out of time. But I was determined to get these in. So the ones that didn't get asked in the episode, I have since, we're going to get Kas in. He's going to answer these questions over the phone. Good old phones. So midway through this somewhere, we'll probably have a bit of a break, and we'll get Kas to answer these questions. Because it's a long episode, we'll have a little break, and then we'll carry on. So, shall we get on with it?
Yeah, I think people are going to enjoy this one, mate. Let's get him in.
So, I know you're not on Instagram and social media and stuff, are you, Kas?
No, I'm not on social media.
So, what we do is, we put posts out often saying, this is who we're going to see this weekend. Any questions people might have, send them over to us, and we'll hopefully ask them. So, I put a post out, and within minutes, if not seconds, you'll not be surprised to know that Lee Connolly had a question.
My good friend Lee.
So we're going to start off with this one. And Lee wants to know, who's the hardest man you know?
The hardest man I know is Lee Connolly.
Is it Lee Connolly?
Yeah. If I were going into war, I'd bring Lee Connolly up. He's the hardest man I know, I'm not lying to you.
Yeah.
And I box some good fighters, and I know a lot of hard men, but Lee Connolly's one of the hardest men I know, honestly. Too hard for his own good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had the privilege of doing his corners and what have you. And I'm not lying to you, he's too tough, honestly. Me and Lee are ex-sparring partners as well. We used to spar, about 8 years ago when I used to have a bit of ambition. But Lee Connolly, hardest man I know. Too hard.
I think he knew you were going to say that, didn't he?
Yeah, of course he did. Because I've told him, I always say, if I'm going at trenches, I wouldn't say he's necessarily the best boxer, but when it comes to war and wanting to fight, he'll fight anyone, anytime. So, hardest man I know.
And he don't look like that, does he?
No, great nice kid. Yeah. Great nice guy.
One of the smartest I've met as well,
nice guy, but he's tough as old boots, honestly. Tough as old, and he'll never turn down a fight. I remember back in June last year, I took him to do a fight against Ethan James. I think he took it last minute to the 8th round. And I go, what are you doing 8 rounds for? He goes, oh, well, I got off for it. I'm not going to say no. No, it's not in my vocabulary. I go, fair enough then.
Yeah.
And it was a hard fight. Thinking back, I wish I pulled him. the doctor that night gave him 28 days.
Right.
I personally weren't sure. At the time, I didn't agree with the 28 days, but obviously you've got to go ahead with.
Standard,
but
innit?
thinking back now, them 28 days might have been good for him. Maybe it would have been good if I just pulled him out at round 4, because he weren't being competitive, and Lee's a tough man and he never wants to get out. But you live and learn, don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, same against Joe Cordino. Didn't want to come out on that, did
No,
he? either?
no. If you've seen the video, his corner man on the night said, I'm pulling you out, and he pushed him away.
Yeah.
And he continued on. If you hear the commentary, Tony Bellew was in the commentary saying, should never let a fighter override you, but that's what happened on the night. But I think he got stopped later on anyway in that fight.
Yeah, he did.
So it might have done him good with getting pulled out, but,
Yeah.
it is what it is. He's a tough man. One of the toughest men I know, honestly.
Well, he also had a follow-up question, and I'm almost ready to ask it.
No, go
He
for
says,
it.
how many takeaways do you have a week?
That's a hard question, because I have a lot of takeaways. Put it like this.
Can I tell you that Carl Sampson put a guess?
Go on then.
He thinks about 14.
That's a very good guess.
Is it?
Well, I'll tell you. I have a takeaway or a restaurant meal every day of the week.
Right.
Nice one.
So that's 7. And then, would you class Subway as a takeaway? Or a jacket potato? Or getting it from out?
To be fair, they're on Just Eat, so
Yeah.
I reckon it might be.
Because I'll have like a Subway day and then have a takeaway at night. But then I don't know if I class the Subway as a takeaway or not.
I don't class Subway.
I'd say 10.
Because
Not classing Subway and potato.
No, we're not classing them.
Jacket potatoes and that as takeaways. But I don't make it at home, but yeah.
didn't Samson say, ask how many as a day?
Oh, yeah.
Two. You could say 1 or 2 a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it could be 14
Wow.
a week.
Brilliant.
But I'm not massively overweight.
No,
not
I
at
wouldn't
all.
say I'm... See, I was never thin when I was boxing. Like, I was never on my boxing weight, especially at the end of my career, I was well overweight. But I was, not going into boxing, thinking about as a normal person. I wouldn't say I'm overweight. I'm you know what I mean? I've got a little bit of a belly, but I'm not massive or anything. But for a boxer, professional athlete, I was well overweight.
Yeah.
Even now, I think my last fight were about 11, just shy of 12 stone. Now, I should be boxing about 9-7, 10 stone at a push.
Yeah.
So I have 2 stones overweight. If I tell you right now, I'm probably weighing 12.5 stone. I'm not much over, but I was massively overweight when I was fighting. So I've not actually put much on since I retired.
No, there's a few don't know, mate. A few balloon out when they are fighting, and then you'll see some now. I'll see a few guys. And used to come and see me after the fought, and they've gone from being stick thin.
Yeah.
And then a week later, you'd see them and they're out here. And then now you see them, now they're retired, and they just stay the same.
Yeah.
They just find the natural way.
That's kind of with me, because at the back end of my career, I was fighting massively overweight. Don't get me wrong, even though I was fighting massively overweight, if the kids were just okay, I was just a little fat lad, just moving my head and that, and I'm telling you now, they couldn't touch me. I felt like I was really good at what I did. I had a tight guard, moving my head, and I was crap, to be honest with you. I wasn't the best boxer. I didn't have the best feet, but I could shift myself and move my head, and have a tight guard, and they couldn't get me. Even at middleweight, I'm not lying.
I've classed you one of the most cleverest journeymen out there.
There's a lot of clever boxers out there, but I was good at what I did. I was very good at what I did. Don't get me wrong, when I was at Roger Sampson's gym, I saw him the day after I got stopped by Maxi Hughes. I saw him at a boxing show. Actually, believe it or not, it was when Ben Davies fought Lewis Taylor. They're both my mates, by the way, because I started training with Lewis when I first turned pro, and Ben Davies at the time, I was training with him when I got stopped by Maxi. And I went to go watch their fight the next day. I saw Roger and he goes, come up to my gym and we'll, And I go, I don't know where your gym is, how far is it? And I found out it's only about half a mile up the road from where I live. Honestly. And so I went the next day, and ever since I had my whole career after that with him at his gym. And at the start, I trained hard. And I was just learning. Roger's a very, very clever, knowledgeable boxing man.
Yeah.
He was a good fighter himself. Yeah. Probably didn't do as well as he could because of his own circumstances and stuff, but very knowledgeable man. And at first, I used to just soak everything in what he told me, train hard. And I think that's what made me such a good journeyman later on. I did train hard for the first 50-odd fights. And then as time goes on, you just can't be bothered. And you're not getting decisions. And then you're just thinking about the money and, life goes on. But because I had that solid kind of foundation when I first went to the gym, I just progressed and it was easy for me. Boxing was quite easy for me, to be honest with you. Yeah. I got stopped 3 times in 119 fights, which I think's quite a good ratio.
I've got 3 here. I've wrote them all down, and I wanted to ask you if there were genuine ones.
Maxi Hughes were proper, genuine. Broke my nose in the first or second round. He was just too good. If I remember rightly, at that time, when I boxed him, I took that fight on at 9 o'clock the night before. Right at Sheffield.
Yeah.
And Maxi were meant to fight in a 10-round title fight. And the kid didn't get on the flight or something. It was against a world title challenger. He'd been out in training camp in Wales. He was training with Gary Lockett at the time, I can remember. And I took the fight last minute, so he was well on form at that time. I probably shouldn't have took the fight, but I have a macho at that time as well. So I taken the fight. And I just couldn't keep him off. That was a genuine stoppage. Couldn't do nothing. There was nothing that I could do he had an answer for everything. He got rid of me. Fair stoppage. The next stoppage was Sahih Iqbal. You're talking towards the back end of my career. I think it was about my 80th fight. It was just way too big. That was the point where I started thinking about retirement. Yeah. And I was getting overweight. And I think I boxed him just shy of 11 stone, if I remember rightly. Yeah. And it was just massive. It was 6 foot odd. And this is no lie. I'm not going to make it. My career's over. I'm proud of my career, what I had. But I still remember in the changing room, Adam Etchers did my corner. Adam Etchers, do you remember him? Yeah. Etchers did my corner. And I remember in the changing room, I was thinking, if this gets hard tonight, I'm going to sack it off.
Yeah.
And I got in the ring and I saw how big the guy was. I thought, fucking hell, what am I doing here? Oliver Harrison, may God rest his soul, was in the opposite corner. He winked at me saying, don't worry, we're going to look after you. And don't get me wrong, Saeed came out and he was just tippy-tapping. And I remember going back to end at first round and I said to Adam, pull me out. He goes, you've not even got hit. I go, no, I'm done. Pull me out. He goes, you've not been hit. How are you going to pull out? If you don't pull me out, I'm going to take a knee. I'm not fighting. So I went out in second round and the first shot what landed, you can watch the video back if you don't believe. If you can watch the video back, first shot what landed, I was straight on the floor and Mark Lyson was the referee that night. And he knew how tough I was. He refereed loads of my fights. Very good referee. And he goes, Kas, I got up about the count of 6 or something. And he goes, Kas, you want to continue? I nodded my head and I said, no, I'm done. And he played the fight off. And that was that. So was it a genuine stoppage on the night? Yeah, because I didn't, but I was finished. And this is no word of lie. The last stoppage I had against Ewan McKenzie in my last fight, I boxed in 2021 and I shouldn't have been boxing. Hand on heart, them fights what I got through, I shouldn't have got through them because my heart weren't in the game. I just wanted a few quid. I wanted a closure on my career.
Yeah.
I knew my career was over. I knew I was not out of way. I knew things weren't right. My heart weren't in it. But if I didn't fight that year, even today I would have said, I'm coming back. I've had closure on my career. I don't regret. People said to me, hey, Cassie, you can never come back. You're on your 30-odd. I said, no, I'm finished. Because I've had closure on my career. And I remember against Ewan McKenzie, it was Pro Bellum's first show that. And they had me in Hilton Hotel. I had a massive breakfast. They looked after me. And I remember the week before that fight, I fought a kid called Elliot So in Birmingham. And I remember Carl Greaves came to me. Carl Greaves was my manager at the time. I actually had a fight after that against Jake Demery. I don't really remember that one. But I had a fight against that Elliot So, and I remember this. And Carl Greaves came to me in the changing room. He goes, Cass, have you seen that email the board have sent you? I go, no. He goes, oh yeah, the board have called you in on the 19th of December. I said, yeah, but you've got me a fight booked in 2 fights in December. He goes, yeah, but the board have called you in. And he goes, you know what's going to happen? I go, yeah, they're going to take my license. He goes, yeah. He goes, they're going to take it because you're too fat. He goes, what are you going to say? He goes, every time you go in front of the board, you promise them you're going to lose weight, but you don't. He goes, this is going to be it. I go, leave it with me. I go, this will probably be the end of my career. So I kind of knew that my last fight was going to be in December. And if I'm honest with you, I didn't really plan to go in front of the board because I didn't want to embarrass myself and I didn't want to embarrass them. Yeah. Because I've got a lot of respect for the British Boxing Board of Control. They always looked after me, looked out for my best interest. I kind of knew I'm going to box up till the board meeting and then that'll be it. And I thought to myself, I need to make as much money as I can these next couple of fights. And I remember Mick Hennessy were fighting the first week of December. And I says to Carl, get me Mick Hennessy in 8 round. Because obviously TV you get more money. And he goes, no, it's not going to happen. Anyway, in the end I convinced him to try to get me a 6er. But if I remember right, he were pulled off the show anyway. And then I fought a kid called Jake Demery, what I've just seen. That was quite an easy, straightforward fight. And then I boxed Ewan McKenzie, and I remember I'd eaten a big breakfast and whatever. And I said to my missus, you can even ask her, if it gets a little bit tough or my heart's not in, if I can't be asked to do the 4 rounds, I'm going to retire in the corner. And she goes, why? I go, that's closure for me then. I was in the change room and I was quite nervous because I'd eaten a lot. I was boxing at like just shy of 12 stone. The kids were quite big. Warming up, got in the ring, done about 30 seconds in the round and I thought, I don't want this. And I kind of got through the round fairly easy. He didn't really throw anything big. I'm not lying to you, he didn't throw it big. End of first round, I've gone to the corner, I've said to the corner man, I go, my shoulder's gone. My shoulder hadn't gone, by the way.
Yeah.
And he goes, what do you mean? I go, my shoulder's gone, I can't fight anymore. He goes, right, I'm pulling your call referee over, shot. And I said, my shoulder's gone, that's it. And that was closure for me. That was closure in my head. I was a bit embarrassed because I thought I hated getting stopped. That was my only thing. I weren't bothered about losing. Losing was winning for me. Getting out through a fight with no marks, no bruises, happy days. Got paid, off I go home. And that night, I remember even now, I kind of retired in the corner and I was happy. I was content. And that was closure of my career saying, you know what, you're finished. And I went back to the changing room and I was happy and I said to my missus, I go, that's me done. That's my last ever fight. But I emailed the board that night saying, sorry, I won't be attending my board meeting tomorrow for whatever reason. And went on holiday and I come back, I rang Carl Greaves, I go, that's me done. And I emailed the board saying, thank you very much. Thanks for looking after me. Thank you for being cooperative. But I won't be attending the board meeting because I'm happily retired. And I am happily retired because they were closure on my career. Going off the question what you asked me, was that a genuine stoppage? Yeah, because I retired in the corner. But if that was 3 years before, would that kid have stopped me? He wouldn't even touch me. And no disrespect to the lad, but...
I just like to always get them in because you just sometimes see them on Box Rec and it'll say, Kas Hussain lost TKO second round. And then what people don't realise is they don't see how that actually happened and what it is.
I don't know how many interviews you've had. Probably see a lot of people, they're not happily retired because they feel like they've not got closure on their career.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could be wrong.
No, I think you're probably right, yeah.
A lot of boxers, they don't have closure on their career. Like, you'll see the British champions and they always have closure on their career and people think, oh, they need closure. But us journeymen need closure as well.
Yeah.
They say, oh, this person's gone depressed and mentally unstable who's a world champion. They're fighting once every 3-4 months. We do it weekly. Mm-hmm. To change my life, I'm going every week from 2012 to 2021.
Yeah.
Boxing weekly or every second week. That's all I knew. And then all of a sudden, there's no boxing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people will never say, oh, where do journeymen go after? How do they mentally cope? That's never even thought about. They're kind of forgotten about. But they are the backbone of the sport.
And we spoke about that, haven't we?
Yeah.
We spoke about after Lee Connolly about how there's nothing out there for them after.
No.
And sometimes some do go down a dark road. And it's nice to come here and see that you are happy, you've got closure.
I think that was the best thing for me, that closure on my career. Mm-hmm. In my career, I worked with a lot of good people. Roger being one of them. Like, obviously, after I've retired, I've kept in the sport, which was good. Give me an opportunity to corner his boxers. So I've been doing Lee Connolly's last year. Before he retired, did his corners. Carl Sampson's, I've been doing his corners. Now it's been a year on. I've got my manager's license. I've started managing fighters. I've got 3 fighters coming through, decent fighters. So I'm still involved in boxing and it just keeps me going, keeps me in the sport and keeps me mentally right, to be honest with you. And like I say, I'm good.
And the sport won't be the same without you, mate.
I'm happy. It's good for me. I love it. Even managing and doing the corners, I don't do it for a pound note, I'll be honest with you. I'm not bothered. I do it because I love the sport. And I care about the guys who I work with. Like Carl Sampson, he's been mate from how many years? I can't even tell you. Since we were amateurs. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Since we were amateurs, we were sparring. We didn't box at the same gym. I didn't box for Roger as an amateur. I was at another gym. We used to be sparring partners at one point and we used to see each other on the amateur shows. So you're talking when I was 13-year-old, 14-year-olds. We've known each other. I'm going on 30 now. So it's a long time. We're just mates. Lee Connolly, again, I've been doing his corners. I work with him. I've been mates with him for 10 years plus. We were ex-sparring partners as well. The guys what I'm working with, they're my mates and they've given me the opportunity to keep going in the sport.
So you should do, mate, as well. So we're managing now then, mate.
Yeah, managing.
Come on, let's have... I knew you'd been to management, Kas. I knew you'd be the man.
Yeah.
I can imagine you walking around with your suit on.
No, there won't be no suit, to be honest with you. There won't be no suit. For me, managing the fighters is just getting the best what I can get for them. I'm not bothered about wearing a suit and getting in the ring and, what have you. I was satisfied with my own career. I got to box on Sky, got to box on BT, I got to box on Channel 5, Small Hall, I boxed on the TV channel. And I know I was on the losing end and not meant to win and on the bottom of the card, but I got to do everything I wanted in my career. And I'm not bothered about wearing a suit and trying to be something I'm not. You'll see me, I'll be wearing my cap, tracky bottoms on, and I'll be carrying on doing what I'm doing.
And people will respect you for that, mate, as well, because that's who
I'm
you
not
are.
bothered about wearing a suit.
That was a joke, though, mate, actually. I never thought you'd be in a suit.
No. I've got 3 signings, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I've got Samuel Mason.
Big signing, that, mate.
Yeah. And he's training with Roger Sampson at Man Boxing Academy and Gary Wilson. We were trying to get him a WBO European title fight. Unfortunately, the WBO wouldn't sanction it because he's coming off a loss and what have you. So they said build him back up. So fortunately, the fight hasn't officially been announced, but I can tell you because this podcast will come out after. He will be fighting Dean Sutherland in a 10-round fight in June in Scotland. And it's a fight what I believe he'll win. His trainer Roger and Gary, they both believe he'll win. He thinks he'll win. So, and we're just trying to build him back up. You know, we thought, should we get him in against the journeyman? What's the point? He's had 20-odd fights now. Yeah. What's the point? So that's a big fight for him, a winnable fight for him, and gets him back where we want to get him in title contention.
But I think Sam as well he's still got something left.
Yeah, we've stepped him up a weight as well now. Yeah, by the way, we've got him up at welterweight rather than light welter.
I messaged him. I've always followed his career, and when he come back, I was dead chuffed because I thought he had something to give.
Yeah,
I know at the time he was with Ryan Rhodes, obviously he's gone now with you, Roger Sampson. So yeah, I think that'll be a cracking fight.
Yeah,
and. Would you say 50-50? Or would you go 60-40 Sutherland?
I'm going to go 60-40 to Sunderland, and the reason being because the fight's in Scotland. Yes. Sam's going to go there, and he's got to win, and he's got to win good to get a decision out there, because it's not easy. We stepped him up to welter now, because he obviously I don't know how much he struggles, but some of the stories he's told me, it's scary. Mm-hmm. Making the weight, it scares me, and I wouldn't want to be involved in anyone struggling that much to make weight. And that's same with Roger and Gary. So we've decided as a team we're going to step him up to welter, and we've got him this fight as his first one with us. And fingers crossed he gets a good win here, and then we're hoping to get him out again. Keep him busy. I want to keep him active because he's not young anymore. He's 31, 32-year-old. So how long has he got left in his career? You know, a knockout loss or a bad loss for him, that'd probably be the end of him. I'm just being dead honest now. Yeah. So this Dean Sunderland is not a big. I think he's not 4 out of 14 wins. So he's not on paper. He's not a massive puncher. Obviously, I've not been hit by him, but so that's a good fight for him. I'll tell you the next signing I've got. Fingers crossed. He's in front of the boxing board next week. Jamie Sampson, won 9, lost 1.
Is he coming back?
He's coming back, and it's a big signing for me. A very personal signing for me because me and Jamie go back long time. We were sparring partners, trained together. I don't really like the word of calling myself his manager. I'm just his pal, helping him out and guiding his career. To be honest with you, he's my mate. Yeah, I'll be working with Jamie. He's making a comeback. He's in front of the board next week. So fingers crossed we'll be announcing a really, really big local derby, to be honest with you. Sheffield versus Leeds. I'll tell you again, we're looking 26th of May against Billy Pickles and Old Forward Mine, actually. So, yeah.
Well, you can pass a lot on them to that, can't you? Is he with Denzel Brown?
He's with Denzel Brown. Jamie's brother, Carl Sampson, boxed Billy as an amateur and beat him, knocked him down as an amateur. So Jamie's not coming back to be a journeyman, by the way. Jamie's coming. No, he's not coming back to be a journeyman. He's coming back. He's always wanted to come. It's been years now since he's been on about, shall I come back? Shall I not? Before I kind of started fighting again, he said to me, Kas, you get your managers, and I'm gonna come back. He goes, the only person who I'll sign with is you, only person. And then all of a sudden, I wanted that kind of, I've got it, still got it in me. So I decided not to get my managers, and I boxed myself from September to December. And he's been in the gym since. He lost a lot of weight. You know, fingers crossed he gets his license back. There's no reason for him not to. Next week we're in front of the board and then straight into a big local derby because, like I say, for him, it's one of them. He says, what am I going to do? What am I going to gain out of fighting a journeyman? I've done it for the last 10 fights. I'm not lying to you. He's training hard. And the biggest fight Jamie's probably had were against my good friend Lee Connolly. And he goes, he's training harder now than he did for that. He goes, I was in McDonald's 2 weeks before that fight. He goes, I didn't used to run or nothing. And now he's going running. He's in the gym 3-4 times a week. He's turning up to sprints. He goes, I never used to even go to sprints. He's got that bit between his teeth. against a kid who's 13-0. So I'm just happy making these kind of fights and helping a mate of mine out. So yeah.
And that's a winnable fight, you know.
It's definitely a winnable fight. I boxed Billy at the back end of my career, and was it a hard night for me? No, it was a very easy, straightforward night's work. And that's no disrespect to Billy. You know, I've got a lot of respect for every fighter who gets in the ring, but it was a straightforward night's work for me. And it was when I was finished. So really, anyone half decent should have been knocking me out.
Right, and I want to know this third one, Cash, 'cause I think he's one of my guys, isn't he?
He's a good lad. Cavan Bailey, he had about 30 or 40 amateurs. I'm really looking forward to working with this kid. Again, I don't like to say I'm managing him because he's a good mate of mine as well. And there's a good story behind this, a really good story, because he came into Roger's gym when he was about 13, 14-year-old. He's only 21, 22 now. And I used to say to him, you're going to be doing what I'm doing. You're going to have a house, you're going to have a nice car, you're going to have everything. He said, no. And I said, trust me, I'm going to manage you one day. You're going to be going on the road and you're going to buy a house out of boxing. You're going to get a nice car out of boxing. And he said, no, I'm going to be a champion. So you don't want to COVID come, and then he's not been boxing since, and then he's been training, and he goes, Cass, that's it, it's time. Because what you used to say to me, it's going to happen. And that made me so proud. To manage him, it's a pleasure. He's got his board meeting next week. I'm hopefully going to get him out in April, end of April. He's going on the road. He'll probably lose a lot of fights, but I'll tell you one thing. If anyone tries sticking it on him, they will get knocked out. He's tough, he's old school, and he's got a good boxing background, you know. He's been at Rogers gym. That's a good amateur gym, good pro gym. He's got some good fighters, and he knows his way around rings. So if anyone does try putting it on him or taking the piss with him, he'll get turned over.
He needs some T-shirts, don't we, for him? Definitely. He's definitely one of our men.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's going to be a proper road warrior, this lad, isn't he?
Yeah. Like I say, if someone tries it on with him, they'll get found out.
We've just done his update, haven't we? We have top 3 to look out for this year, journeymen.
Yes.
So maybe next year, mate, he might get in the top 3 next year.
100%. I'm very confident on that. Yeah. He's going to be a very, very good journeyman.
Yeah.
I know he will. As long as I manage him right and getting him the right fights. Because I don't want to rush him as in chuck him in 6-rounders and what have you. It's just building him. And I know he's just a road man, but it's building him and getting him the right fights on the road. So that, and that's the plan. I can't see many stopping him.
No.
If I'm honest with you, I don't think he'll get stopped very often.
You're one of the best in the game to do that, mate, as well, to pass it on to him.
Yeah.
And you should be very proud that, you know, these guys respect you like this and trust you. You're a good man, mate.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to managing him and Jamie and Sam. See, Sam, I've known him since I started amateur boxing. Believe it or not, this is a true story now. When I went for my amateur medical, so this is before I even had my first amateur fight, and I still remember when I went for my amateur medical, I had it done at Woodseats Working Men's Club. I don't think they do amateur shows there anymore. And I had my medical at the start of the show, and I remember Samuel Mason were boxing that night. I remember the person who I was sat with, saying, "Oh, he's a good kid," and they were saying, "Yeah, he's gonna go for." And this is 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Before when I was. And I always knew him as an amateur, you know, kind of, he probably knew me, I knew him, hello and bye kind of thing. Didn't make mates or nothing. Then he's done his thing, then he's come to Rogers Gym, and then, you know, I've signed him and we're working as a good, fingers crossed it'll be a good relationship with me, him, Roger and Gary, so.
Yeah, I do like Sam. I've always followed him obviously because of that link with my wife Dawn school and that. But I also think it gets upsetting because he is actually one of my journeyman upsets. He got knocked out on Channel 5 by Michael Mooney.
Yeah.
Now, I apologise, I did jump up at that one, Sam, but I promise you I'm backing you now, mate.
Yeah, fingers crossed, though. As much as I would have joined myself, I have got some decent prospects there, because I believe Jamie Sampson's got a title in him.
Oh, I do as well.
And he's going in the away corner, because the win against Billy Pickles definitely chucks him straight back in the mix. I wouldn't say we're going to chuck him straight back in a title fight after Billy Pickles. I think he needs one more at that kind of level.
Is that in June then, that?
That's May the 26th.
May 26th.
May 26th. But I'd like to see him fight again in July at that kind of level again. Yeah. In maybe another 8-rounder at that kind of level. And then maybe back end of the summer, September, October, get him in a title fight. But we'll just have to go fight by fight. And to be honest with you, with Jamie, if he comes back in this fight against Billy Pickles and doesn't be competitive and doesn't win, it's game over.
Yeah.
I'm going to advise it. Because like I say, he's my mate. I want him to retire. He's not in it to be a journeyman. He wants to come back and be a contender.
He will be competitive on
so
that night.
If he's still got what he potentially could have, then there'll definitely be a win on the cards against Billy Pickles, and there'll be some big fights ahead. So let's just see what happens. He had his first spar last week in the gym.
He looked
sharp.
He
looked really sharp. He went as sharp as where he needs to be, but he looked good. He was pinging. He got the better end of the sparring after so many years out of the ring and what have you. So and he got the better end of the sparring. Only 4 rounds what he did, but still. So and that's good to see as his first spar. He's still got another 10-12 weeks left till this fight. So fingers crossed he'll sharpen up. There's some good sparring in the gym. We've got Joe Jenkins, we've got Samuel Mason, there's Jamie, there's a couple of amateurs roughly the same weight. We've got Kavan who's going on the road. He's going to have a couple of spars before he has his fight. That's good sparring, competitive sparring in-house in the gym. So fingers crossed for Jamie.
It's going to be good, that, mate.
Yeah.
So let's get back to thee then, mate. 119 fights. That's some record to be proud of, isn't it, mate?
Yeah.
113 losses.
Yeah. Nice.
I assume we didn't lose all them, mate. We had 2 Ds on there.
Yeah.
2 draws and 4 wins.
Yeah.
Now we'll start with your debut. What came with your debut at all, mate?
I can.
Yeah, come on, let's talk about Marco Stewart.
Oh, tough night's work.
Yeah.
Tough night's work. 19-year-old boy, didn't know anything about professional boxing, me. He was a clear win on the night, I'll be honest with you. I sold shed load of tickets, 150-ish.
Did you?
Yeah. Shed load of tickets. But, yeah, fair decision. I didn't really know the game. It was what it was.
You see, you lost on your debut, but then you had a bit of a swan song, didn't you? We had a win against David Lake.
Yep.
And then we had a journeyman. I'm terrible with pronouncing names. I say this every episode, Cass.
Yeah.
We're terrible with names. Pavel Senkov's, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He were a journeyman, wasn't he?
He were a good journeyman.
Yeah. I've seen him a few times knocking about. And then you had David Lakes again and drew with him.
Yeah.
So a little period of nice little win and 2 draws there, mate. Can you enlighten me on them fights?
The first fight with David Lake in my second fight, that was me in the home corner, and I beat him fairly comfortably. Can't remember the score. The Senkov's one, that was a draw, but if I'm honest with you, I probably lost by a point. I got a nice decision there. I was in the home corner. Now, I told you I sold 150 tickets on my debut. On my second one, I only did 50 tickets. Guess what? When I fought Senkov's, how many tickets I'd done? I remember on the day of the fight, I'd gone to Den Subs with my manager at the time, and I went to the team, and I said, I've got £900 worth of tickets here. That's all I've sold. So how much does that work out? About 25 tickets?
Yeah.
And he goes, you've not even covered your opponent there. What do we do now? And he goes, I'm going to let you fight. I'm going to pay out my own pocket. So I boxed for free that night.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I think I'd got another £100, so he probably had to pay a couple of £100 out of his own pocket just for me to box. I boxed for no, and I kind of knew the ticket sales are dropping. I'm not a world beater. I'm probably an area title level fighter at a push, maybe in English if I'm lucky. So it was kind of, do I retire now or do I go on the road? And it will go on the road. So the draw against David Lake the second time, that was in, if I remember rightly, was it Scarborough?
I don't know.
It was Scarborough. That was me in the away corner, by the way. So the second time I fought him, I was meant to fight Tommy Ward that night. And for whatever reason, that didn't happen. And they put me in against David Lake in the away corner. That was my first fight on the road. And I picked up a draw. I thought, to be honest with you, I won it quite comfortably. But I got a draw, quite happy, got paid decent money. It was the first time, because obviously in my third fight I fought for nothing. And I was selling loads of tickets. And I didn't really know about this kind of, you go on the road and you get paid and you lose. And I didn't really know all that kind of thing. So when I fought David Lake that time in my fourth fight, and I'm thinking, I've got a chunk load of money, a handful of money. I've got a draw. I've not had to sell no tickets. This is easy. Why I selling tickets in my first fight, running around chasing people for tickets, getting paid peanuts, and having to train hard when I can just go on the road, get paid decent money, and not sell no tickets? This is the way forward. So that's where we went.
Nice little swan song, that, mate. And then one I'd like to mention as well, Peter Cope.
Yeah.
Remember that fight?
Yeah. That was a bit of a grudge match, actually.
Yeah, that's what I want to bring it up.
Yeah, I had a bit of a... See, even though I was going on the roads early on, I had a bit of ambition. Because I was still kind of getting to terms with what going on the road was, what journeyman's was. Because I didn't really know the game. And a lot of people don't, by the way. A lot of people don't. So, I remember, when I boxed Peter Cope, what I'd done is, we were meant to fight on a certain day, and about a week before, he pulled out. So it wasn't a grudge match at first, and a week before he pulled out. So I was like, why has he pulled out, the pussy? So I then went on Facebook and went on Twitter and posted on his thing, oh, why have you pulled out? This is what prospects do. They don't want to fight a guy with one win and so many losses. And then from there, his kind of fans and people kind of started giving me grief. I started giving him grief. And then he made a poster. Let me get it up. He made a poster with me, like the Hulk with big arms and that. I've got it here. I'll show you. And
get it printed and sign it for us.
let me see. How do you get photos on here?
I have no idea, mate. We can find it, mate, later if you want.
Yeah. All right, we'll find it later. But he got a poster of me, like the Hulk. And then that's how it started, and then there were backwards and forwards and what have you. And they kept calling me Fatty because the promoter who were promoting, it was Phil Jeffries who were promoting the fight against Peter Cope. And that fight, when I had fought David Lake the second time in Scarborough, I came in £5 overweight. And they kept calling me Fatty, make sure you make the weight, make sure you make the weight. Anyway, this is no word of lie. Hand on heart, I'm not lying to you. The morning of the Cope fight, I woke up, I think the fight was matched at 9:09. I woke up at 9:12.
Wow.
At the time, I'm not lying to you, I did a 2-hour session on the day of the fight, had it on the day weigh-in and boxed him. And I still only lost by a point or two. I'm not lying to you. I did a 2-hour session just to make weight. Because I thought if I turn up again, £3 overweight, God knows what they're going to be calling me.
End of it, would you?
Yeah. So I trained on the morning of the fight. I promise you that's not a lie. And that shouldn't be happening, by the way. I'd never advise that. But I'm just telling you, that's the God's honest truth.
I had to bring that one up. I thought there were a bit. I can remember just a little bit of that.
You know what? Really good boxing family. Really nice lad. We had a bit of beef beforehand, but really nice lad. Proper boxing family. And he sells the tickets in the bundles. I remember that was a great atmosphere on the night. Yeah, really good atmosphere. So, yeah.
In touch with him at all now, or did you see him? Or?
I've seen, well, obviously when I'm on the road with boxers and I've seen him at a couple of shows, I always speak to him and I've got respect for him. You know, any boxer I have respect.
Yeah, and then obviously I went from there, and then English title holder Femi Fenantola, wasn't it?
That was another grudge match. Another grudge match.
It's a bit of a diva type thing, and every time I mention, he gets a lot of that beef.
Believe it or not, me and Femi, why it turned into a grudge match is what happened. We were sparring partners. When I first turned pro, Clinton Woods was my trainer at the time, and Clinton was training Femi when I made my debut. So them first 3 fights I had were with Clinton. Me and Femi were sparring partners. I'm not lying to you. There were times where I used to get the better end of the sparring. Obviously, he was way better than me. So, because I couldn't sell in Sheffield, I wanted to have a local fight. So I kind of thought, I need to get onto someone local. And Dennis had a show local that time. I saw Femi's on it. So I thought, right, let's go some beef with him. Get the fight on. So it turned into a right good match. And we were backwards and forth all the time. I remember it weighing. He came up to me, we've got in my face and lot. See, that rattled me at the time because I was only a young boy, I was 20-odd. You know, he'd boxed for I think he'd boxed for the British, English, and that really rattled me. But he won that fight easily. It was nothing like the competitive spars what we had. It was easy fight for him, to be honest with you. But yeah, I had respect for him after the fights. I've not seen him for a few years now, to be honest with you. I did see him a fair few times after the fight, but I've not seen him for years. I don't know even if he's involved in it or anything.
I haven't seen much of him, to be fair, but you leave it in the ring, don't you, mate?
Yeah.
But I knew it didn't take much to get wound up.
Yeah.
I've had a few mention him, and I had to get him in there. And then you had 2 fights with a Barnsley lad. I don't think he's in Barnsley now, but he was from Barnsley. Craig Poxton.
Craig Poxton? He's not from Barnsley.
I thought you were from Barnsley.
Norwich, weren't he?
I thought he lived in Norwich, but he was born over here.
Oh, right.
That's why I'm asking you.
I
haven't seen him.
I didn't know he was a Barnsley lad because I boxed him in Norwich.
I looked him up, and if you look on sites, you can't quote me on this again. From what I asked, if you look at people, he just says from Barnsley or from Barnsley.
Maybe.
But he obviously he's down Norwich now.
Yeah. He weren't bad. The first time I boxed him, easy night's work. Second time I boxed him, it was a lot harder. I wouldn't say it was a hard night's work, but it was a lot harder than the first time.
It improved.
Yeah. I can't remember the fight off the top of my head, so I know it weren't that hard either. But it definitely improved the second time. That's what I remember.
Well, that's your homework, Cash. You're going to find out if he's from Barnsley or if he's from Norwich.
You'll be able to tell if you just by his accent.
If he talks like us. If he talks like us, he's definitely one of us. And then obviously, we have to mention it twice as well, mate. Tommy Patrick Ward. He's class, isn't he?
Very good. He lost his last fight, actually.
He did.
Yeah. But if I'm honest with you, on ability-wise, he's probably the best I boxed. On ability, I'm talking about. He were all over the shot, like, he'd be in front of me here, and then he were on my side, over here, behind me. And I was like, what the hell's going on? Sharp as anything. Technically, ability, very, very good boxer. Very good. Not much power. I think that's what he lacked. And obviously got caught out on his last fight. So, But that kid we boxed was like an animal, weren't he?
Yeah.
Really good. But that was like a world title final eliminator or something.
And he deserved that.
He's fringe world level, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's on that kind of level. So, but Tommy were a very, very good fighter. And the reason I boxed him the second time is I knew he didn't have the power to hurt me. If he had power, I wouldn't have even gone nowhere near him the second time because I would have let me less the first time. But because I knew that kind of hurt power wasn't there, I knew he couldn't hurt me, just ping me all night. And that's why I took it the second time.
So it was like more of a frustrating night.
Yeah, just really frustrating. He was
like
just
a
all
fly
over.
that keeps coming round the whole time. You can't
like
get
I
rid
say,
of it.
it would be in front of me, and by the time I even kind of opened me, blinked the second time, they were on the side, and they were over there, and they were all over the shot. I'm not lying to you. It was just so really fast feet and fast all over the place.
And like I said, we touched on Maxi Hughes, didn't we?
Yeah, Maxi, yeah.
He's still going now,
You
isn't
know
he?
what I find funny? Maxi's known to be a non-puncher, but if I remember rightly, he punches quite hard. But he broke my nose. So
Put him on blacklist then.
he broke my nose, so yeah. But extremely sharp, and Max is a really nice kid. I've not seen him for a couple of years now, but every time I see him, always really respectful, really nice. Always got time for everyone. And I'm happy he's gone on and won a world title, and I think they're on about him fighting Gombosis, aren't they now? So I'm happy that he's somebody who genuinely knocked me out or stopped me. Has gone on and...
He's really come out of the woodwork,
hasn't he? Yeah, and he's done really well.
He has.
Fair play to him, he's done really well.
And I must admit, I didn't think he'd go that far up, but respecting, I'm glad he has. And the few people I spoke to always, like yourself, Kas, I say he's a great guy.
Yeah, really nice guy, so fair play to him. And makes it a bit more better for me that I got stopped by him rather than not just somebody who just didn't do much. So he's gone on and gone to the top of the game, so fair play to him.
And he's done brilliant.
I
think he's done it the hard way as well.
Yeah, he's done it. I think he's had a lot of his fights on the road, the kind of the big fights, hasn't he?
A bit like a Cunningham, innit? Same.
Done really well.
Yeah.
Just to jump in, as we said from the start, sorry to interrupt, I'm just going to give Kas a call and ask him these questions that we didn't get managed to ask at the episode. So I'm just going to get the phone out and let's have a chat with Kas.
Hello, Kas.
Aye, Chris, you all right?
Yes, mate. How are you doing?
I'm all right, thanks. How about yourself?
I'm very well, thank you, mate.
Good.
Just wondered if you could spare us a few minutes.
Yeah, of course.
Because obviously when we came to see you, we had a couple of questions that we never got round to asking.
Okay.
And with your permission, I'd love to ask you them now.
Yeah, why not? Go for it.
Nice one, mate. Well, the first one is from Kyle Whittam. Do you know Kyle?
Okay. Yeah, of course I know Kyle. I used to train at Sean Thickett's gym and he was training alongside us.
Right, well, it's funnier than you talk about training because he wants to know who the biggest waste of talent you've ever trained with.
Ooh, that's a good question. That's a really good question. See, Kyle were very good. But that's a tricky question because I'd like to say Jamie Sampson because he was very good, boxed 9 years ago, but he's actually coming back. So would you waste the talent or not? We'll find out. Because he's actually coming back. But I'd like to say Jamie Sampson, very, very talented kid. I'm a bit biased as well because he's managed by myself now. So he's having his first fight back. So we'll find out if we're a waste of talent or not. He's straight back in a big fight against a 13-0 kid in 2 weeks' time, which we believe he'll win. So we'll find out if we're a waste of talent or not. But I think he was probably the biggest waste of talent who didn't continue his career and just kind of let it go. But he's decided to come back, yeah.
Nice one. So, we'll look forward to that one.
But again, Kyle Whittam were a good fighter as well, to be fair. I've not spoken to him for a couple of years. It's surprising, but he's always... I remember when I was training with him, you're talking 7, 8, 9 years ago, and he was on about coming back. But I know he's always on about coming back. So, but I don't think he will now, because the last time I saw him, we were a bit overweight. Let's just say that. So I doubt he will come back. But he's a talented kid. So.
Yeah. Well, I think Kyle will be listening to this. So if you do, Kyle, get in touch with Kas.
Yeah, definitely. If Kyle fancies to come back, give us a call anytime. I'd love to manage him and see if he's got one more goal left in him. See if he's a waste of talent as well. So
brilliant. So the other question, mate, is from Joey Reece Taylor.
Oh yeah.
And it's quite a good one actually, and pertinent to the podcast.
He's actually just retired, hasn't he?
He has. Yes.
He's just retired.
Yes. He has. But Joey wanted to know if you've got any advice for upcoming journeymen, maybe people who are just starting out and on the road.
Yeah, definitely. First thing I'd say is look after your money, because it's a short career. Every penny that you earn, look after it, because boxing is the hardest way to earn a pound note. So you don't want to finish your career with nothing to show. So look after every penny that you earn. The aim of being a journeyman is earn as much money and not getting hurt. One other big advice I'd give to all the journeymen: watch out for the fights that you take. Take safety fights. Take the good fights. Don't try to be macho, because I'll tell you what, you'll get plaudits while you're boxing and whatever have you. You know, once you're retired, boxing is like a conveyor belt. The next person will come and the next person will come. And guess what? Nobody cares about you. I've retired, 2 years, 1.5, 2 years ago. Who cares about Kas Hussain now? I'll tell you what, when I was fighting on a weekly basis, I used to get promoters, managers ringing me all the time.
Yeah.
Now, who cares about me? I'll be honest with you, nobody.
Well, we care about you, Kas.
No. You know, you've got good people. Like I say, even now, I've got good people. But who cares about Kas Hussain as in, we need him, or... boxing is a conveyor belt. They bother about the new journeymen coming through, because they're the guys what are needed. Like I say, that's why I say make sure you look after your money, because once your career is over, nobody cares about you.
Yeah, well, I mean, that is brilliant advice, mate, and hopefully anybody who is about to go on the road will take that on board.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, mate, I'll not keep you any longer. That really appreciate you giving us a few minutes today, mate.
No problem, Chris, at all, no problem.
Hopefully catch you soon.
Yeah, fingers crossed. See you soon, my man.
You take care, mate.
Take care of yourself. Bye-bye. Bye.
I'm glad I've got this one. I never had a chance to mention him, right, because he hadn't had many fights. And I can see you've had him in twice. You've had Michael Gomez Jr. twice, haven't you?
Yeah, he's fighting for the English title next week.
Yeah, he is. What are you, bugger?
Do you know what? You can talk to him, Michael Gomez. Every time he boxed me, he broke his hands. He always said, your head's so hard that... am I right by saying I lost him by a point the second time? I lost him 39-38 second time. First time, believe it or not, if we're on a very big card. I can't remember if we're in the Echo Arena the first time. I can't remember who were top up bill. And when I boxed him, I had my gloves on from about 5 o'clock in the evening. We were a floater on a TV show. Can't remember who the top up bill were. Probably Derry Matthews. I can't remember though. We were a big card and we ended up boxing at 12 o'clock at night. They kept saying, you're on in 10 minutes. Oh no, you're off. And we ended up boxing at 12 o'clock. I remember they were starting to close the curtains and turn the lights off around back at arena. There's no word of that. They were literally empty arena. And the first time I boxed him, I don't know if I was tired or what, but it was kind of a hard night. Like, obviously I couldn't be arsed. It was 12 o'clock at night. Yeah. I was just tired. I just didn't want to be boxing. So it turned out to be quite a hard night. But obviously it was probably because I was tired. Because the second time boxing was really easy and even nearly in tears. I watched his after-fight interview and I'm like, oh, he's my bogey, man. He breaks my hands every time I box him. It's just a nightmare because he just punches me and got my hands up and he's just breaking his hands on my hands.
I mean, I love to see him to go on to at least British level.
To be honest, he's fighting that Levi Giles next week. Carl Sampson got robbed against him.
Yes.
To be honest with you, I did Carl's corner when he boxed Levi. That was only recently. I think Gomez will beat him fairly easily. Might even stop him later on.
I think Gomez.
It's quite an easy fight.
I think Gomez will beat him next week.
Yeah.
But also, Callum Simpson's not brilliant. What do you reckon?
He's good. He's very good. Very good. Very good.
We'd like to get him on show. He said he wants to come on.
He said he'll come on. But he's obviously got to concentrate.
He's a bit too cocky for me. He's a bit. I call it journeyman bounty hunter, don't I?
Yeah. See, I don't really know him, if I'm honest with you. But he's a good boxer.
when I say he's cocky, he's not really cocky. He's a great, really nice guy. It's just that he stops all my journeymen. And I end up doing his corner like it's been mentioned before when he fought Farouk as well, which shouldn't have really happened. But yeah, a lot of people have got a lot of good things to say, and he's a great guy.
Yeah.
And I think he's got a bit of a test next week. I think he'll come past it with flying colours. I'm not sure who it is, but it's a bit of a step up in class, which he needs. It's going to be on a big show next week.
Yeah.
And it should be
There's
interesting to watch.
a lad from Rogers Gym Boxing and that, Shaq Thompson.
Oh, Shaq, give him a shot.
Shaq.
Thompson, yeah. He's good.
He is. Good. Yeah.
But I don't know who he's fighting or what's going on with him, but the thing with him is he's a really good fighter, but he can't sell tickets.
Yeah.
He just can't sell. And to be honest with you, you do need to be able to sell. So how far he goes, I don't know. Ability, really good boxer. Could go all the way.
Yeah, and I've heard that he's not one of them people you're just going to give a fate to, are you? If he can't sell, he's going to have to work.
I think he's knocked 6 out of 8 out or something. You know what I mean? He can punch, he's pretty massive at the weight, he's got a bit of everything about him, good tidy boxer. So
I did a face-to-face with him, an head-to-head with him at Leo Connolly's do. A nice do that. Yeah. Appreciate coming to that, mate.
Oh yeah, you came to that, didn't you?
And
it's about twice as tall as you.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, it's massive. That's what I mean. So nobody's going to choose him as an opponent. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And he's not a big ticket seller to get the big fights in the home corner, so it's a bit of a tricky one, that. I'm not sure, but I think he's signed to Boxer.
Yeah, I think he is signed to Boxer.
Yeah, I think he's signed to Boxer, so...
Man of Gym Boxing put a photo on him last week and he looked proper ripped.
Yeah. And
I thought...
That's what I mean, so nobody's going to choose him as opponent, are they?
No.
It's one of them, it's a bit of a tricky one with him, because he can't sell.
Yeah.
So, and you need to be able to sell in boxing.
We all know that, don't we? It's frustrating, mate, innit? And then, after that fight, you had 2 with Gomez, obviously, but in between that as well, you had Chris Hathaway. I like Chris Hathaway.
Yeah, Chris Hathaway. That was one where we were in the same change room that we were before, and I was free the week after. Didn't have a fight booked. And on the morning of the fight, that show was going to fall through. I've not checked box rate. You probably, I don't know if you checked. But I think there were only 2 or 3 fights on that card.
Right.
So his manager, Errol Johnson, at the time kind of said, should we just ring Kas up and see if he'll fight on the night? And I think it was like 10 o'clock in the morning or something. They rang, will you box Chris Hathaway tonight? I was like, yeah, why not? So we just boxed and we had a punch-up. So yeah, that was that. Chris is kind of quite a good mate of mine now. You know, keep in contact with him. We've had plenty of fights on the road together and what have you. So yeah, either in the away corner, either in the away corner. It was one of them. A show needed filling. Could have potentially fallen through if they weren't another fight on. So I thought, right, we just took 2 journeymen on. So that's what happened.
He never got to his 100, did he, Chris? Which was sad.
No, he didn't get to 100.
I think did he have some kind of heart scare or something? I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
You know what, though?
He had a health scare, I think, and he couldn't.
To be honest with you, people do chase 100 and it's a great achievement, but health is wealth. I was always told by my managers and anyone who I manage or work with or anything, the order that it works in, health, wealth, then win. There's no money, nothing in the world what's more important than your health. So look after that first, then your wealth. Then the win comes last. If you can win, brilliant. If you can't, who cares? End of the day, you've got your health and you've got paid.
Yeah.
Win comes last. Because let me tell you something. These world champions, once they retire, who talks about them? Or who cares? There's no support for them. And that's harsh reality of life. Yeah. So keeping your health intact is the main thing. Keeping your wealth, because there's no point in having a world title today or a British title if tomorrow you're skint. If you can't pay your bills and you haven't got a house or shelter for your family, well, what's the point of having a world title but a British title belt in your cabinet? You won't even have the money for a cabinet to put it in, so what's the point? I'm dead honest. Dead honest.
It's true.
I'd rather have shelter for my family, have a house, be able to put food down your family's neck. Because if you can't do that, then what's the point of having a belt?
It's like that. There was a story on last week in darts about Richie Burnett, world champion. Yeah. He said, I've earned 2 fortunes and I spent 3. Yeah. And he was saying that he was struggling that much, so he had to bleed his radiator to warm his pot noodle up. It's a nice reality, isn't it?
Yes.
And people are always going to be there when you gain success and you're up there. Yeah. But these people always disappear.
And that's how it works. So like I said, there's no point in winning titles and being a big name if at the end of it you can't even provide for yourself, or you've got no house or no food.
Exactly. And that's sound advice, and I hope a lot of people listen to that very carefully, because that is very sound advice.
What I mean? Yeah. Not mention no names now. This guy who won British, Commonwealth, European, I don't know if he's won a world title or not, I don't want to say. I don't know. But really good fighter. And he was doing my corner up once, and I had to go to his house, and I saw, and he was living in a rented flat, he was run down, and I said to him, what went wrong? And he goes, I'm skinned, I've got nothing. And I felt so bad because I thought you were a great fighter, and there's nothing left, and his health isn't great either because he had some hard fights, slurred a lot, and it's just sad to see.
It's so sad to see.
Because you don't want anyone to not have their health, and this is a hard game, and you deserve to be financially secure after it. Unfortunately, a lot of boxers don't be. There's probably a very small percentage who've even got a house after it. I saw an interview once, of you might have all seen it, of Tony Bellew saying he boxed for the British title, and it was coming up to Christmas, and come January the 15th or something, he didn't even have a penny in his bank. Have you seen that interview?
No.
But yeah, I've seen an interview, and that's sad. Do you know, and obviously now he's gone on and won world titles and financially very secure and what have you, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Won a British title or something. Don't quote me on that, but there's an interview out there, and he had no money come 2 weeks after Christmas, after the New Year, which is sad.
And it's like you said that as well. Nobby Nobbs, obviously a great guy. I'm sure you met Nobby on the road. He's gone under the radar now. He's been mentioned a few at podcasts, but he really says the same as you. He's just happy now, and he'll say, what are you doing now, Nobby? Aren't you going to get back into the game? He goes, no, I've got a roof over my head. I've got a chair. I've got a kitchen.
Yeah.
He says, that's all I need.
Yeah.
I'm happy and I'm fine. And he's happy to just go away. And like he says, for every one Tony Bellew will just come out the other end, there's 4 or 5 that don't and are really struggling.
Yeah.
And it's tough to see that, mate. But yeah, sound advice. Really sound advice.
So, and that's how it should be.
Yeah. And that's why you should definitely be going into management like you are, mate.
Yeah.
Because you can teach next generation how to look after money a bit.
Fingers crossed. It's not that. I just don't like to see people get hurt and what have you. Like, as much as the money's decent, it's not enough money to get hurt. It's not enough money for your health. So it's one of them. You just need somebody good around you. I'm very fortunate in my career. I always had good people around me, giving me good advice, and I'm very, very fortunate.
You can repay that back, mate, which is great to see.
Yeah, that's it. And I love it. I honestly love being around the game, so and that's why I've stuck around.
I've said before, you wouldn't be saying me, aren't you, mate? You need to be there.
Yeah.
Now, when I did my notes, I don't know why I've wrote this fighter down. Maybe you might be able to. I've got Josh Morgan down here.
It's because I beat him.
Yeah. I thought we were going to catch him out there, but I didn't, did I? You had a big victory for him, didn't he?
Yeah. I'll tell you a story behind that. Am I right by saying him in February, early on in the year?
We did a post, didn't we, for you?
Yeah, the thing, you know why I beat him? It was just after Christmas, and I remember Roger at the time, they gave me a bit of notice for that, about 4 or 5 weeks, and I'd come back in the gym after Christmas, been on holiday, come back. Roger goes, you're going to beat this kid. If you're in Sheffield, this fight, I've in the away corner. Roger goes, you're going to train hard and beat. I'm going to take you in. Because Roger didn't always take, a lot of the time, he didn't come with the shows. And he goes, I'm going to take you in for this fight and you're going to beat him. And I'm like, really? He goes, yeah, you're going to beat him. That's it. You're going to train hard for the next 3-4 weeks and you beat him. And that's what happened. I trained hard, and not exactly hard as some people, but I trained hard, than what I was. And Roger took me in and I beat him. It was as simple as that.
Yeah, a good win that,
yeah,
mate.
A good win.
We did a post this year on that.
I think it was 4-0 or something at the time or something. And
you never forget your wins, do you, mate?
Yeah. I only had 4, so there's not much to forget, is there?
Yeah, we definitely did a post on that this year. And then you fought another Barnsley. Now, I know this guy definitely from Barnsley. Jack Churchill, you did, didn't you?
Yeah.
Were he any good?
Nah.
No, a lot of people say.
Easy night's work. I didn't beat him, but that don't mean no.
He didn't do
I
very
didn't
much.
beat no, it was just straightforward.
Straightforward, easy night's work.
Yeah, just straightforward.
I can't remember where that fight was, but it was at Barnsley.
I think it was at Metrodome, wasn't it?
I don't think it was.
All right. I thought it was at Metrodome. It was.
Was it?
Yeah.
I wonder why I wasn't there then.
It was at Metrodome with Carl Greaves' show.
Drum roll now, who's wrong and who's right.
I can't remember, but I'm sure that was Carl Greaves' show at Barnsley Metrodome.
I think he did have Churchill at the time with Wagers, didn't he? With Wager and Davis, didn't he?
Yeah, I
Who
thought
were on
it was.
that show then?
It was Ben Wager versus Kevin Cooper, and he got knocked out at stop.
I didn't go, yeah.
Wayne Reed versus
I would away, you're right, I would away.
Totally.
It was definitely Carl Greaves' show, 21st of March 2015.
Because I was usually always there. I always wonder when I ever saw you at Metrodome, and that's why.
Yeah. It was at Metrodome, I thought it were.
But then you had a bit of a class after, though, didn't you? The Olympian, Charlie Finn.
Oh, yeah, he's good.
Oh, no.
He was decent up in Scotland, Glasgow. It wasn't a hard night's work, though. He didn't have much power. If I'm honest, if I remember rightly.
He never did much in the pros, did he?
Yeah. He was a nice, tidy, short boxer. not much power, if I remember correctly. I boxed him in the Thistle Hotel, if I remember correctly, and not much power. Good boxer, tidy boxer.
You're a good Olympian, weren't you?
Yeah. But just because you're an Olympian or a good amateur doesn't mean you're going to make a good pro.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean that. If I remember rightly, Charlie Flynn lost or got a draw 2 times with a kid called Ryan Collins, who I boxed as well in Scotland. Maybe the same year. And Ryan Collins for another one. It went great. And I'm sure Charlie Flynn got a draw with him a couple of times.
Like it says that Anthony Gogo, what's saying, wasn't it? He never really...
Just because you're a top amateur doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be a top pro.
Like you said, did you find him quick though? And
it's a nice, tidy, short boxer. Nothing special.
That's what I expected. Like I say, don't mean they're going to turn over and be good. You thought, I'm going to go to the journeyman here, mate. You fought Busy Bee, didn't you? Joe Beeden.
Joe Beeden, yeah.
The old barber.
Yeah.
He had a fair few fights, so
he had about 50 odd, didn't he? But Joe Beeden, you know what? If it was one of them, I kind of knew him quite well on the road. I think I'd already picked up a win in the recent times, so I didn't really need a win at the time. And he needed a win because he hadn't won for years. Right. So I kind of just went in there, tucked up and got through it and gave him the win what he needed. It weren't a fight, it was like a soft spar. Not even a proper spar, but a soft spar, just tip-tap. I was happy just to get an easy night's work and he was happy to get a win.
I think he's obviously tying down and got a couple of barber shops now, I think.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, he's a big hairstylist now.
All right, I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. So I don't think he'll be cutting my hair, but he could book you in Scarfe.
He could try, couldn't he? Just this.
And then after that, we went to see him a few weeks ago, mate, in Magna. What do you think to Mould? Reece Mould?
Good. He was decent. Believe it or not, I actually saw him last weekend on a show. I took Carl Sampson to fight and he was there with Jake Smith. Again, he's decent. Big ticket seller, I think.
Yeah, he's a massive ticket seller.
Did he win for the week?
Yeah, he won.
He won.
That story's come out before. We had to leave it 10th round because he had 1% on his phone.
All right.
And we needed an Uber.
All right.
And we had to go, but that would have...
So I had to drag him out, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We went with Jake Pollard, didn't we?
Yeah.
All right.
We stayed to watch that, and that would have... I think that's going to be fight of the year. It is for me so far.
I wasn't there. I've not watched it, but yeah, Reece for a decent enough kid. Didn't cause me too many problems, if I'm honest with you. There weren't many who caused me too many problems. Just being dead honest now.
Yeah.
There were a few hard nights' work, but that weren't one of them. What kind of thought, that was hard. I came home quite comfortable. I don't know if you've got this lad's name on the... I'll mention it. There was a kid. I don't follow his career, but there was a kid called Lucas Ballingall. I boxed him twice, and he punched hard. He had a right hand, and I always remember him. I wouldn't say it was my hardest fight, but it was definitely up there, because the first time I boxed him, and I saw him in the weigh-in, and he looked like a little baby, like he was like 12, 13. He was only 18 at the time, but he looked really young and naive and what have you. And I was quite tough at the time. I can't remember what fight it was. And I remember it first round, he punched me at top of my head, and my legs started shaking. I'm not lying, my legs started shaking. And I was talking to my leg saying, stop moving, or ref's going to stop this. I'm telling my leg, you need to stop. And I went back to the corner. I thought, fucking hell, this is hard. But the thing with him is, I don't think he's got many knockouts on his record. He's got a one-punch hard fight, like a big punch, but then he's not a good finisher. And I don't say that in a bad way, but he don't step on the gas and finish you. But I've heard a couple of people saying that, because I spoke to Jamie Quinn, and he said, he's got a right hand, but he just don't go for the finish. But then I boxed him in his second fight. So I boxed him in his debut. And then in his second fight, a few months down after, they rang me the night before and they said, will you box Lucas Ballingall? Is it for punch? I go, yeah, but he punches hard. I got a couple of £100 extra or what have you. And I boxed him again. And obviously, I knew we've got that good right hand. And guess what? Second time, he clipped me again with second right hand in first round. But my leg weren't shaking this time, but he hurt me. And I thought, fucking hell. He's done it again. Yeah. I knew this time, and he's done it again. But I got through the fight. But the second time, it was more easier than the first time, because I knew the first time were really hard. And that was one of my hardest fights. But he's not gone on and achieved big things. I think he's the English champion now, I think.
But that's a question I always ask to people like you who's been around and had quite a lot of fights. I always say, was anybody who surprised you or hurt you when you expect?
He surprised me. He was one of them where I thought, bloody hell, that was hard. Like, I came home and I was hurting. And I thought that was hard. And I still remember it. Like I said, there's some fight, you'll ask me, and I can't remember. I say, they're all right. But either one of them, I still remember him punching me and my legs started shaking.
Everyone's got one, I think, mate. I mean, you've just answered my question there towards round ending it, mate. Another fighter, go on, Marcus Poston.
Again, another win for me.
Nearly.
You know what? I've got. You know what? This is a good story now.
Come on then, mate. Bring it on.
Day of the fight, and you're not meant to drive to shows, and I would never advise it, but my career is over, so I can tell all honest truth now. And I wouldn't let any of my fighters do this, but I worked in the morning. I was a taxi driver at the time, and the fight was in Norwich, and I drove to Norwich, and...
It's quite a journey.
Yeah, and I got there, and I still remember Soggy in my corner from Birmingham. He had somebody else on the night. Christian Layout were on, actually. It was Christian Layout. And I got bandaged up. I was tired, and he goes, "Come on, Kas, warm up." Well, Soggy, I'm not warming up today. I can't be. I'm tired. I've drove here. I'm tired. And he goes, "Why? Just warm up." I go, "No, I'm not warming up. If I warm up, I won't be able to get in the ring because I'm tired." So I got in the ring, and he'd sold loads of tickets, and something clicked in my head. I thought, I might chin this kid. I weren't warmed up, nothing. Something clicked in my head, bang. And I didn't say nothing to Soggy, and I started marching up and down the ring as I always did. And in first round, I can't remember what this kid had done as an amateur or a pro or what have you, but I caught him. I caught me overhand right in last minute of the fight, and he went down. And I've ran to the right corner, and I just thought, right, I'm going to beat him. And fortunate for him, the bell went. Went back to the corner, and Soggy goes, "What are you going to do now?" I go, "What do I do? I don't know. I've never knocked no one down." He goes, "You're going to fucking win this." Soggy said it to me. I still remember. He goes, "You're going to fucking win this." I go, "Right, I'm going to win it then." And then I went out and won. Won on points. Went back to the change room, got changed, got paid, and drove home. Easy night's work. And I always say that. I always tell everyone, when you're fighting, don't think what you're feeling at the time. Like, you're going to get nervous. Everyone gets nervous. Don't think people don't get nervous. Everyone gets nervous. You know, they're human beings. We're all the same. Everyone's got emotions. People get nervous. It's normal. But especially as a journeyman, they might feel brilliant in the change room, get in the ring and feel crap. So it's what you feel like in the ring. Because I'm telling you, that night, I couldn't be bothered. I didn't even want to talk to anyone. I was just in my own little world. I was tired. I'd been at work. I drove to Norwich. I was tired. Got in the ring. Something clicked. I want to win. Bang. Got a win.
What was that drive back like?
It was nice. I remember
if you were tired on way there.
No, but then you get that adrenaline rush. See, after I boxed, every time, I couldn't sleep at night. Whether I was tired or not, it was just that adrenaline. Yeah. Even though I was losing, I don't know, I just couldn't sleep at night. I'd only get a couple of hours in after I boxed. Just one of them things. Yeah. I think a lot of people are that.
Probably one of your toughest nights turned out to be an absolute beauty, didn't it, mate? Yeah. Strange how things work out.
Was that my last win, I think? That was the last time I won, 2016. Yep. I can probably even remember date-ish, November 2016. Because I remember it was coming to end of year. And I got 2 wins that year, actually. If I remember rightly, I got a win in January against a kid called Ben Zakanawari or something. And then I went on and beat him later on the year.
Great.
I think I had about 29 or 30 fights, like 28, 29, 30 fights each.
That's a lot.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but I had a lot of fights that year.
That's nice.
And I had 2 wins, so it was nice. It was a good year.
Definitely, mate. I want that CAW record.
Yeah.
And then we went to see him last night, didn't we? Dempsey Whale.
Yeah, we did.
Can I answer it?
Yeah, answer it.
Go on. Yeah, I'm here. I'll speak to you in a bit. What's up?
Hold up. Whilst you're on the Journeyman Cave, if you can hear me, make sure he gives me a shout out.
You're not getting no shout out. No way. You're not getting no shout out.
Good lad. We'll put that in.
Yeah. No, he's not getting a shout out. He's not getting a shout out. He always wants a shout out.
But yeah, you fought Dempsey Whale, didn't you? Was that his debut?
Yeah.
I got
robbed. I'm not lying to you. Yeah.
Oh.
I should have beat him. I should have beat him, honestly. See, that could be a fight. See, what weight's he doing, by the way? Is he doing super lightweight or lightweight?
I think it might be... What's 10-12-ish?
10-12?
Luke Fash was coming at 10-11 yesterday.
Luke Fash won't come at... He was probably coming at 9-2. Luke Fash won't come in at 10-12.
I'm sure it was yesterday.
Luke Fash won't come in at 9-12, no chance.
10-11 he come in.
No, he won't even come in at 10 stone 11. Not Luke Fash. He's only 9...
I say he's tiny, isn't he?
No way. Let me check that.
Check it.
No way. Because James Sampson's fighting Billy Pickles next May. See, if Dempsey Whale wants to step up in his next fight, he came in at 10 stone. So, I can see he's got a fight 1st of July.
Yeah,
I won't mind doing the Jamie Sampson fight in an 8-rounder. That's a nice fight for both of them.
Yeah.
If they fancy it. But I'm just looking here at Dempsey's record. Every fighter he's had has been a journeyman. He's not fought anyone with a winning record.
He needs that step up then, don't he, maybe?
So if they want a live opponent, James Sampson's available. We could quite easily make that fight if they want it. I've not spoken to Jamie about it, but in my head, that's a fight we definitely consider.
He's definitely improving. So, like I said, I think 8-0, ready for a step up, mate. Could be a good one. But I must have heard 10-11 wrong.
Yeah,
I mean,
10
Luke's
stone
really
bang
small, isn't he?
Yeah.
But obviously, I had more pints
like
than I usually have.
If Jamie's been at 8-9 years not boxed, so it's a good fight. It's a good local fight.
Now, I've saved the best one till the last one, Cash, for your fight.
Okay.
We need to hear about that big fight in Oldham between you and Jamie Quinn.
Oh, yeah.
We have to hear about
101.
Yeah, we had to get... I want to save this till the last one,
Yeah,
Cash.
that was...
It got a lot of bad press as well at time, didn't it?
A lot of bad press. Jamie took it harder than what I did. Jamie still goes on about it now, actually. I'll see him, and I didn't take it too bad hard. I'd have in my 101st, even his 100th, which I think's history. I don't think that's ever happened. 100 versus 101.
I don't think it'll ever happen again, you know.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not. By the way, I'm the youngest person to do the 100 in over 100 years. When they checked, I think the last person before me to do it that young was in 1905. Wow. So over 100 years before someone had done it so young. Wow. I was the youngest person to do it in over 100 years to get to 100 fights.
Some achievement, mate.
Yeah. Proud achievement. You know, I'm very proud, I know I was a loser, but it was a very big thing for me to get to 100. Probably one of the best days of my life. Getting to the 100,
What a good atmosphere that night, then, or what?
Yeah, it was nice. We topped the bill. And I remember, if you watch the video, in the 4th round, I was shouting, yeah, we're top of the bill. I'm happy for Jamie that he won that fight because, don't get me wrong, it was a competitive fight. I did want a little... I don't know if I wanted to win, but I wanted to be competitive because it was 100 versus 101. But I think I was more happy that he won because he was buzzing. See, I wouldn't have been buzzing as much as he was that he won his 100th fight, so I'm happy for him. Good friend of mine, Jamie, is as well. We still see each other, keep still in contact. He's still going, actually.
He is still going, yeah. We make his T-shirts, don't we?
Yeah. But really good, a good journeyman. I think he's on about 170 now. But yeah, that was a nice thing because I did the 100 and I felt like I made history getting to 100 as the youngest person to do it in over 100 years. And then for me, 101st making history again, 100 versus 101. So yeah, it was really good fight. Fair play.
I think that were a great one to end it on, mate, for your career. I had to say
no,
that
I didn't win. That weren't my last fight.
No, that's the last fight I had on my list. I want to keep the last fight for that one on my list.
Yeah, 100 and 101. That was really nice to do. Yeah. But will it ever happen again? I don't know. See, I say to Cavan, who I think he's 21, he's got 5 years to get to 100 if he wants to beat my record. It's possible. But, see, a lot of fighters now, they're kind of chasing records and chasing to make history. I don't think you should do that. That's just my opinion, because sometimes you're chasing something and you can't do it, and then you'll start taking the wrong fights. And even though you're on the road and you're kind of there to lose, you need to kind of look after yourself and take the right fights. And not personally, I don't think you should do that, but you need to be looked after, and you need good people around you. That's the honest truth.
And some haven't, have they?
Yeah.
It's tough to see. See,
Kas Hussain, at the minute, I feel like at the minute he's kind of fighting at a weight that he shouldn't be, because he's only 9'9", 9'10", and he's fighting at 9'12", 10 stone. And his dad, Roger, he's always on his case, always on his case. You need to start fighting at 9'9". And that's the truth. Carl's not been stopped yet. And I don't think he'll get stopped if he fights at the right weight. And he's getting through at the minute. Today, he's fighting tonight. It could potentially be a hard fight tonight.
Yeah.
He's fighting a decent kid at 9 stone 12, 9 stone. And that's where he's going to get caught out. And that's where a lot of kids, the journeymen, if they start fighting above their natural kind of weight, you'll get caught out. And that's what happened with me at the end of my career. I was fighting at nearly 12 stone, just shy of 12 stone, 11.5 stone. I've had a 10 stone at a push. That's why I kind of got to a stage where it was game over. Roger's always on his case. Why are you fighting at 9.12? Get down, get opponents at 9.9, 9.10.
I know Jake Pollard does that. He says he went up to high, he said, about 9.12, and he said it was just too much. I could feel. And he says, so now I tell him, 9 stone and that's
Steve Jackson, I don't know if you've seen him.
One of Curtis's guy.
Curtis Kagano's guy. He started boxing at 9 stone. He's barely a super flyweight. And that's why he got... Nobody will stop him at super flyweight. Nobody. But when you start giving your best attribute of having that advantage of the weight, once you're giving that away, then you're giving everything away. Because don't forget, you've not... As a journeyman, you're not getting 10, 12 weeks training. You're fighting week in, week out. Your diet's probably not the best. You're not probably training as hard as you should be. You're already on a downer. So if you give the weight away as well, what attribute have you got in your favour? So in my career, especially I don't even want to say at the end, the majority of my career, I always made sure I was either the same weight as my opponent or there was a couple of pounds lighter. I always wanted weight advantage because I'm already giving too many advantages away. But the back end of my career, sometimes the people are giving me a stone of weight. I'm not lying. Wow. I think that's taking the piss, I'm not going to lie. But 3-4 pounds, the away fighter should get it because they've not had 10 weeks training. They've not, you know what I mean? And they deserve to have that at least, or they should at least be the same weight. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Where fighters should be, their natural weight's 9 stone 10 on the day, and they're going up to 9, 12, 10 stone. They're already giving that physical advantage away. I'm just giving you an example here, yeah? And a home guy who's fighting in the home corner, say they're fighting at 10 stone on the day. Once they fight, they're going to blow up to 11 stone minimum. Then they're going to 11, 11.4, 11.5. So their natural weight might be 11 stone, just their walking about weight. Then they're having 8, 10 weeks training to get down to 10 stone. This journeyman who's fighting weekly, he's got to be that way day in, day out, week in, week out. He's not exploding up and then training down. So they're big at 10 stone. He's naturally just at 10 stone. So when they're 11 stone, that's what he is at 10 stone. So they're giving a lot of advantage away. You have to be very smart in the game. You do a lot of interviews with the journeyman now. A lot of them sort of slurring. The health isn't what... It's not 100%. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not nice. These are the things what are going to lose that attribute, that for you. Like I said to you before, both of them are my first thing, what's the most important thing? Health. Look after your health. You need to make sure that things are in your favour. And giving weight away is one thing you'll get caught out.
Yeah, so going forward, mate, I think we're going to see a fair few more fighters under you.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I've got the 3 now. I'm quite happy with the 3. I'm not going to go out and try signing anymore. Yeah, because I'm one of them. I want to give my 100% to the guys that I've got and make sure they're looked after correctly, rather than having 10, not giving my 100%. Just like I say, I don't want to see them slurring at the end of their career or not 100% health-wise. I want to see them at the end of their career with their full health and fingers crossed financially good, or see what I call financially stable. Somebody who's rich might not call financially stable. For me, somebody who's financially stable, who's got a house, who's got shelter for their family, who can eat what they want and they've got a decent enough car, that's financially stable for me because, they can live a nice, comfortable life after boxing. Fingers crossed that's what we can get from them. And I think if I sign more and more fighters, I won't be able to look after the guys that I've got.
I think that's a good way to end it, Cash. Yeah. And we'll wish you the best going forward.
Thank you very much.
And I'm sure we'll be meeting up a few times.
Definitely, I'm always on the road, to be honest with you. I'm without, we call, got Kavan, got me, Jamie, Sam, so yeah.
Good lad. Well, appreciate it, mate, and we'll wish you all the best, mate.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming down, and I hope you've got a good story there.
Oh, yeah, definitely, mate.
Brilliant.
All the best, mate.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
The Journeyman Cave is produced by James Proud. Music by Ryan Carrier. Special thanks to Rhythm Inc. Studios for hosting. All views expressed are of the guests only. The Journeyman Cave and host bear no responsibility for any opinions given. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter @The Journeyman Cave.